Hello, dear brothers and sisters in the world. Here is Mono from the Netherlands, together with Sam from the Enoch 1 Squared Earth model. And he will talk about new things today. And welcome, Sam. And we will have another part 12. Okay, Sam, come here.
All right. Thank you, Mono. Thank you for going through all of the rigmarole of getting us into recording mode. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to a good discussion and description of debunking lunatic tides because it is very blatant and very exciting in what it reveals that of the sons and the sons of our house, that they are responsible for our tides, and the ramifications of that are great and many towards our spirit, towards everything. So no, thank you, Mono, and thank you for your effort, mate.
Yeah, welcome, and you, thank you too. We have a new line of pictures, and I will read the first one. It is about the lunatic tide debunked. The fakery that is lunar tide is taken care of. Nothing is what it seems of any ball or circle, single physical lights, luminaries is not possible. Suns and moons are times two projected into our prism. Proven fact is two times the moonlight, two times the sun either light, square flat earth, fresh water doesn't move, totally 100% electric realm in every way. And that's where it's all about, Sam.
All right. Well, as I was getting this prepared for us yesterday, I I used this picture a long time ago, but then it just come across me, which I loved this morning or yesterday morning as I was getting ready. And it's such a beautiful picture for exactly what we're trying to explain, the way that whisks around with the Fibonacci spiral, which is all attached to the natural mathematics and magnetics of our home. Um, I seen then you see well, I call it a Merkaba. Um, we've been indoctrinated to call it the Kabbalah. Um, when in truth, like everything, everything is twisted, everything is changed. They changed the name so that we never identify the true essence of our spirit, our soul, our power. And our power is Merkaba, which is in Enoch and other places. So what they've done is they created Kabbalah to replace Merkaba. And, your twin opposing vortexes running along your equator, either side of equator, where those lights land, I had a torch here last night, where those lights land in, they're spinning on that magnetic level as they travel east to west, causing you cyclones and hurricanes, typhoons, and it's due to Merkaba. And everything is in here. Like I've got an auntie in Western Australia, and she's a Reiki master. And I was over there probably 4.5 years ago, and I was really having good talks with Auntie Lynn, and she was before we left because I was in a unique situation after a split with my then partner of long term, and she just gave me a quiet word in my ear. She just said, "Sam, on your way back from Western Australia to the eastern states," she said, "always remember that all of the plants everywhere, just look for their energy." And at first, because I wasn't where I am now, I hadn't really researched anything. And as I'd be driving along, and I've always sort of witnessed it, if you can blur your eyes almost, you can see the chi, the Merkaba, you can see the energy that is throughout plants, throughout all the animal world. It's through everything. And it all is Merkaba. It's to do with the sun. And it's not Kabbalah. So, I do believe we have what they call the chakras. And Well, obviously so, because they use them in traffic lights, and they use them on because red is the sex chakra. And they're trying to get us so carnal minded and stuck in ego that whenever we see it red, it encourages our lower nature to buy or want to buy. So, it really does resonate around the sun's energy in here. It's electric ether energy, which, is something they don't want us to talk about. I so often use it on the internet on purpose because you mention ether and there's plenty of control that will jump on it, and they really don't, because it was taken out of our wisdom. It was taken out of our knowledge in the late 1800s and stripped from their indoctrination schools, that everyone would forget ether. So it's really important, and that topic, ether, is what is coming home to rest as we go through this video for solar tides, soul moon, soul of man, soul, sun, solar energy. It's all ether. It's all Merkaba. And it's really important that people get to accept this and bring it in and understand that it's inside of you. It's in here. It's in your heart. There's a soul in there, and it's a spirit. And something that I sort of learned as I went through, that spirit is fire, and it's something that is our asset. It's an asset. It's not a liability. It's an asset. And passion. If a passion, it doesn't hurt, compelling, and if it doesn't, because I'm compelled with Enoch 1. If it hurts nobody and only has a good outcome, then it's an energy that we need to listen to. And I'm of the understanding and faith, because I understand the cosmology and how it works, that the suns that we see in here, the sun waves, because they are the waves, they work like a wave. Their home, their original source, is not inside our sphere. It's not inside our celestial sphere. It's outside. It's from above us. And, as 2 words of Enoch, as is the orb of heaven. Then we've got to understand that the Rainbow Bridge is talking to us. And and then you come back to, I always loved the Sermon on the Mount. I have no thoughts at all of this Jesus Christ fella. He's fake. But as far as Yehoshua, as a mystical school teacher, like Plato, absolutely. I studied the Sermon on the Mount for probably, I think, 15, 20 years. I always had it in my vehicles, in my utes and so forth. And, I'd always pick it up and have a read when I was doing nothing. And the wisdom that is given in that Sermon on the Mount is at the top of any speech ever given in the whole of recorded history that we know. So, and even with Yehoshua, and he says that, basically if you are the candle in the room, don't let your light, don't let your light be low, lift your candle up and be the light of your house. And then it's funny that Enoch, the phoenix, is translated to Enoch's house, which then comes to the temple, to the prism that we live in, as above, so below, that the celestial engine's turning around. So these guys are alluding very strongly, Tesla, Yehoshua, and Enoch. And you can guarantee, if you looked at not all, because in my view it's truth, lie, truth in all religions, and I'm sorry to anyone that might take offense. Don't take offense. Take it on the chin, but realize that there's truth there too. There is truth in all religions, because what they did is they hid the truth in All the religions. And this is why they want us fighting, because they've taken the information from those religions and put it together. But if they keep us fighting against each other and make us ignorant and we won't look, then we're never going to find it. Well, I took the opposite view. I wanted to see. I wanted to see all the books. And, so often I come back to a text in the Quran, which is, who is the Lord of the two easts and the two wests? And I read one today in the Quran. It was something or other, the sun starts and travels to the ends of the earth. Tabernacle, tent, mattress, there's so much just in the Quran. Then there's much in the Christian Bible of descriptions of flat earth that they don't want you to talk about because they've got control up front. Fakes, they're fakes. It's no different than pastor, preachers or rabbis in the churches that are all controlling what you read, because 99.9% of all Christians, they go and sit in a church on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on what denomination. They pick up the Bible, then after an hour and a half, they go home and they never read it again. So they're controlled with what they read. Well, I know I've studied mine to the point of wearing it out. And you can go to Buddhism as well. You've only got to look at the pyramids throughout Asia and their construction. And once you understand all of the angles of prisms, the Giza pyramid, everything faces cardinal east, south, and west. There's much, much more going on. So, this ignorance to each other's view needs to finish, because in my eyes, completely, that no religion owns Enoch. Enoch doesn't belong to the Christian Bible. They took him out. They don't have any right whatsoever of having Enoch as their sole possession. Jesus is not mentioned in Enoch, not once, not ever. And if anybody, in my view, had any rights to include Enoch in their religion, it would be the Muslims, because the Muslims have revered Enoch throughout time above the said Jesus. And I mean, the Muslims don't even recognize Jesus as a Messiah, and they don't even recognize that name. And because the Christians are so ignorant and indoctrinated, they won't come down off their high horse and desire the truth. It doesn't matter what shape the truth takes. The first and foremost precept that we're supposed to run by is to love all the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, no matter what shape it takes. So it's important, as I'm saying all that, in what we're describing here tonight, with the solar tides, the ether, the electricity of the ether, the rainbow bridge. Everything ties to the Merkaba and the sun and man's dominion in here. And this is part of Enoch's lesson. Yes, it's his cosmology. Yes, it's how the sun, the stars, and the moon all really do work when you get outside and record it and see it. But his deeper truths are about what's going on in here. And it's all tied to the sun. And lunar tides, lunatic tides are another deception. All right. So that's just something I wanted to get off my chest there, please.
Yeah. Okay, great, Sam. Next picture we go to, and that is number 2. Solar Aquarium, Jerusalem Temple. Sun Eater charges the moon in the first 14 days for the magnetic work they do in the last 14 to move the firmament in conjunction for seasons. The moonlights disappear for 2 days every cycle. Goodbye lunacy and lunar tides. The sun are the absolute engine of Earth's cosmic clock outside, but also the absolute cause of salt water, electrically charged movement of the sea, movement of the ocean as they times 2 make their way east to west, as we know those two cardinals. Enoch one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep. Well, as I'm trying to listen to all of that, it's how it is. I think that one was pretty self-explanatory. I mean, honestly, if anybody has any questions, ask in the comments box, and I will do my best to answer. I'm just seeing 14. People, you've got to realise that this whole system is governed by at the very beginning from the sun's tower laser that is beamed into us. It is white light. It is ultraviolet light. You can't see the laser. It's only when it does its job on the plasma sapphire sea sky as it's projected in through the convex surface at the top of our prism home, that it switches it all on. It like a fluorescent globe in a kitchen. I'm looking at one now. It works very similar. So then in the first 14 days, the moon's light does face the sun, as it's no different than a phone or anything, showing you its bars of charge. And they call it phases on the moon, but it's actually on your phone. They've created the bars on your phone. And the sun's ether is charging the moons for the job that they need to perform in the last 14 days after the full moon, where this is your northern aurora and your southern aurora. Yes, we get a southern aurora because we have a southern axis. There's a southern star spin that doesn't work on an AE azimuthal equidistant model. Again, it's just crazy. The AE is just the prototype from 240 BC is when they left that behind to go to the ball. So the northern and southern lights are just the moon's magnetics in the back 14 days, the last 14 days, working on the firmament. To when it comes back to conjunction, so it'll jump from whatever gate that it's in the third set of 7, or it could be 8, but third set of 7. From the second set of 7, it starts working on the axis, and then it jumps out to the third set of 7. Then it's still working on the axis, and that's evidenced by another way. But we'll get through this. Then, before conjunction, it'll jump back to one of the middle gates, depending on who's in summer, 3 or 4, and then at conjunction, you don't see this jump. It jumps back to the sun. No matter where the sun is, the moon will jump back to the sun and come out of the same track as the sun. But when it does that jump, the whole star firmament program moves with it, including the sun. The sun moves too. They jump to the next gate, and then the moon will come out of the same gate as the sun. And this is why the polarity of the moon faces the sun in the first 14 days, and it's pretty tricky. When we hit the full moon, it's day 16, then all of a sudden your sun is going down and your moon is rising. Well, if you pay attention, the moon's light has flipped back around. It's flipped around and it's facing, that sun's going away, but the moon's light is turned around the other way, facing east. First 14 days it's facing west, behind the sun, following the sun. Then after day 15, 14, it's facing east towards the coming sun. But the trick is that when it rises, when it greets anybody, the sun, the moon's polarity will be facing the axis. So the sun will be here going through, but the moon's light will face away from the sun towards the axis in the last 14 days. And then we go through the night, and the moon travels, and then it's the last hour, I would say to people, that if you actually get up and watch it before any light at all hits the sky prism, watch the moon, and then about 15 minutes before the first crack of light, the very first crack of light, you'll watch the moon will spin sometimes 180 degrees. The polarity, the magnetics of the moon will spin from facing away from the sun in that right on dawn. It'll spin right around to face the sun because the sun's ether is the greatest force. And this is what's happening. Anyone can witness this. It's always in the last 14 days. All right. So again, this is coming back to who's the boss out of the two luminaries. And it's the sun, not the moon. All right. Okay. So I'll just get that in there, mate.
Yeah. Okay. We have another one. And 3 tides of the solar, both of which land on the magnetic level when projected in and formed exactly as prominent names of old taught us: Enoch, Tesla, Jehoshua. The height is around 38,000 feet or 12 kilometers, verifiable and provable, to which is why all curriculum of either was removed from education, indoctrination, prisons, schools, so yet another knowing of who and what and where we really live. That was broadly understood previously, so in the past. Pay attention to the MEMS, diagrams, and verify all yourself. As all our work is to try and to get researchers to think and check it. Moon tides definition impossible.
Yep. Virtually, yep. So it's just reiterating what I've already spoken in that last meme. Yeah. And, we'll just move on, I think, mate.
Yeah, right. But speak for yourself. Okay, remember the luminaries are only 38,000 feet at zenith, lower at Crete and leave, in clouds and magnified. Summer, most direction projections angled through the convex surface sapphire sea sky of the sun's wave that stretches from the north to south, going east-west inside. And go on.
Well, right along, when I first was falling out from underneath the spell of the A.E. Azimuthal pizza lie, I walked outside, and I was looking at the sun, and I'm thinking, why didn't I see this before? That, the suns and the moon are much larger at Crete and at Leave. And yet Azimuthal wants, and they've got all of their liars running around with cameras faking and manipulating their lenses and focus and positions to try and show people that are too lazy to get off their bum and go outside and look. That, oh, no, it shrinks and it's perspective. No, it's bloody not. Well, it is some perspective. It is. But not. It's only probably 20% perspective. And the rest is to do with the frequency of the sun waves, yellow submarine, because we're under the yellow submarine waves. I could never understand what they meant by that song. I knew it meant something as a little boy. So what we're seeing is the holographics of our suns and our moon's projection lights too. Everything is frequency and waves, as Tesla's told us. So on that meme, I'm showing that why the sun is bigger at Crete and Leave, because it is a lower frequency, a longer stretch of energy. It can be bent. It's a bendable energy where when it's up at zenith above you as it's traveling across, that's why the middle of the day is so hot, because that's where it is at its most intensive in its frequency. At Crete and Leave, it changes like its colour. It's a lower frequency. This is why it is bigger, and both at Crete and Leave. And this applies to the moon as well. Now you'll notice that there and in the behind section of the map, you'll see, and when we've ever brought on that map, that we changed and worked out the ridiculousness of the longitude and latitude. Now, again, longitude and latitude are equal lines of force, parallel and equal lines of force. There's no possibility of longitude and latitude, in truth, on a circle or a ball, because they're not parallel, all right? because at both axes they close in, and on a circle they're going in a circle. They're not parallel. So that's another evidence. But on that map, we realised and had to work hard that Enoch speaks of 18 portions, and it's a square Earth, 18 by 18. So what we had to do is we had to work out that 12 hours that they took from the Atlantic, put on the Pacific. So we had to bring it back. We had to bring the Pacific back, the 12 hours, and put it back over the Atlantic. Of course, that then exposed lots of other nasties. We had to find the other two continents because Antarctica's fake. So then we had to take the 48 hours it takes for one sun wave to complete its journey from east to west. So then 4.5 E, as Matt coined it, and I think it's beautiful, it's correct, because it's Enoch's house, is 4.5 E is 12 hours, is equivalent to 12,666 hours, which is 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. It's all 666, whereby, 18, it's, okay, it's got 3, but we've got to divide it by 4 to make it all work, see? So it's 4.45 E, and it's already bracketed up and broken down in the map. There's 2 time zones. It is 4.5 E to 12 hours equivalent, okay? So there's your waves, and underneath you'll see that basically they're waves, and that is underneath is the summer sun, because it goes like that for my summer south, then it goes back to equinox, and then it goes the opposite way for the north summer, because as it's projected in, the wave comes in on an angle, then the strongest projection through the sky is going to give you your summer, your widest beam. But back along the fan, along the wing, it comes to your winter. This is why in the centre never has seasons, because it's always just rocking. They never change. In between never changes. It's only out on the tropic lines that get the strongest summer and winter. And this is all evidence of a beam coming in that rocks. It's a beam from north to south, a fan like the wings that they put in symbology everywhere. And it rocks like this with the firmament. And it's evidence of the Hebrew window and the sun that's coming in from outside our realm. In the middle, doesn't get any seasons. The tides are only very, very minimal in here. In the middle, no seasons, very little tides, and it's showing us the suns. Again, it's all pointing towards the suns as the solar cause of our tides twice a day, twice in a 48-hour cycle. See? And as the wave comes, it's displacing water. As the wave leaves, the water's coming back in. It's all electrically charged. So, yeah, I hope that's enough. Mona?
Yeah, okay. And it says also Tesla, everything is frequency and vibration, waves, and Yahushua, the mystery of the suns of my house. Okay, and you cannot look to the sun to see it with your camera, also not without zoom, because also the cameras are already fucked up. That's what I have seen. They are, and telescopes the same thing. So that's not really how it works. You need to look with your own eyes. Okay, great.
There's one thing I'd love to do that I've never done, and that is to research telescopes. Yeah. I'd love to pull them to pieces, because those telescopes are full of shit. They've got some major bullshit inside them telescopes, because they know mum and dad are going to go and buy them, and it's just keeping the lie alive. And they've got some manipulation inside them telescopes. And as far as cameras, it amazes me that I've done the research and I want to do videos on it. And I'm going to start trying to do my own videos. And convex lens and how open shutter time-lapse tells you lies. It tells you lies because of the convex lens inside the camera. I've taken a good friend of mine. He's not a flat earther, but a good photographer. He took time-lapse facing due east from here and of the stars. And bugger me, when he showed me going due east and there's a straight line of stars going over the top of me with two beautiful star spins. And yet the equator's not, what, I don't even know, it's probably 3,000-4,000 kilometres north of me here. And yet that camera told us that basically the equator's over top of me. It just shows you how light bends over the top of a convex surface over the lens. And this is what happens with our summer sun arcs as well. And the moon jumps out to 1 or 6 and it arcs, and which is going to happen actually in the next, well, my moon tonight actually should jump. It'll jump to gate 6. And that's the summer sun gate for the north. And all the northerners, if you get this video, pay attention, because you'll see it arc something shocking, south high for you guys, because it's jumped to gate 6. So, yeah, that's enough from me there, mate.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see a video about telescopes too, and that guy that was an old. I could not find it anymore, sadly enough. But that guy was telling also that telescope are bullshit, and he made his own telescope because he said you cannot look far with telescope like it need to be. You need to have special glasses in a way made in a way that is for telescopes, but they did take it away, and we do not make things ourselves anymore in that way. We also always buy, of course, so they can do what they want. Yeah,
they can.
Yeah. Okay, we go to the next one. The tides are a result of electromagnetism. The dielectric constant of water increase with salt concentration. And electric field, magnetic field. And the red is the electric and the blue the magnetic. Okay.
Well, I want to say here too, because this one reminds me that, Don Nordorf, Tyson Vanderfelt, when we were first getting mobile on doing all our own research, we were like men possessed. We set up chat groups and we had some awesome people that were participating, and the amazing minds that were working was fantastic. So, my gratitude and my heartfelt thanks goes out to these guys, because none of this would have been possible without them fellas. None of it. We worked all, I believe, exactly as the Most High deemed us to do it, because we were all brought together at just the right time, like you and me, Mono. So this is one of Don's memes. And, this is probably some year and a half old, this meme. And I looked at it when I was going through gathering for this recording, and look at the wave. And I thought, wow. And Don had it way back then of just how the ether, and they were showing us with that diagram of the two suns travelling across the flat earth for the tides. And Don, he had it put in there some year and a half ago. And I think that's fantastic. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, if I look at the bottom paintings to the left and the right, we have the same. We have a lot low, very much low and high tides. As you know, we are in the Netherlands and we are for, I think, 60% on the water level. So if something happens, so we have a lot dikes, of course, in the Netherlands. And we see the same thing. That there is a lot of distance between low, and sometimes there come sandbanks. Say you can walk 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 meters, so to say.
Yeah.
So okay, I think it speaks for itself too.
And you'll find too, people, that in the last 2 years, you've seen all of these reports and film footage of, like, in South America and places where people start yelling and screaming that the ocean's disappeared. And it has too. I mean, the pictures that you see, I mean, you're looking out to sea and you can't see like a kilometre or more, that the sea has just disappeared. And it's not a tide. It's moved. It's gone. And the reason for this is because in the last 2 years, it'd probably been now, it was ever since the Lucifer heat wave in Greece that they coined the Lucifer heat wave, that they started to lower the magnetics within our prism home, which is part of the use of chem sprays, that they were lowering the magnetics to which the luminaries land, because they use the moon's trans action between each other as they spin around us, their energy transfer. If you lower the moon, then it changes the cosmic clock. But then now, they used to only do it previous to that in the last 14 days, because that way it didn't wake too many people up. But now, as of that Lucifer heat wave, we're seeing them lower the sun during the day now. And that was the start of that, and they're using the lowering of the sun, which displaces those massive, massive amounts of salt seawater, because it's lower. And as well, it also creates the volcanic action that we're seeing in the major parts, East Asia and West Hawaii, because it's the ascending and descending. They're lower, so they're going to create more volcanic activity. And look, it's obvious. This is Enoch 1 is the only flat Earth that can describe virtually everything that we see and observe on Earth today, and how. So it's an important little thing. This is the same. And it's amazing because I use the same picture. When we see the sun in the clouds, it's coming off the back of the wave or in front of the wave, and at the center of the wave, it is zenith. And it's just beautiful, again, as I say, that so long ago that Don Nordorf used that, and how coincidental that he used it way back then. And this is what we're looking at nowadays, of our flat Earth home, that the sun and the moon's light that is projected in here travels east to west in waves, and they're holographic. Because I've got more memes coming that will show people, evidences that we can't ignore.
Okay. Next one. Projected into our home. Get the fuck over it. Our sun
Sorry.
it doesn't matter. The sun is ether energy transformer projected into us, into the dome, so to say, or the prism. Totally free electricity, totally exhaustible. Why lie about the ball? Faking symbol greed.
Yeah, well, that and a lot more. But, when I first seen that, I just thought, oh, my God, look at that. It's no different than if you're at the ocean or at a lake on still water, and say there's a light shining. You brush your hand through the water. That light that was shining will follow your hand, and it shows you that plane has upset the field that light is emanating at, and it's just following that field. So it's holographic, and it's holographic is it needs 3 points of light. I worked it out the other day. I can't. I have to think on it, because I did work. It come to me the other day. But this is a beautiful thing, and that's what it is. The sun is an ether transformer from outside our realm. It's a heater, and everybody sees it in a different position. See that plane. The people on that plane wouldn't have thought they were anywhere near the sun. They probably thought it was virtually set. Yet the person with the camera sees it at that position. So, they didn't go through it or anything. They just, to the cameraman, it looked like they did. It's a beautiful thing, this realm, and how it's been put together. It simply amazes me all the time, every day. Yep.
Okay. Electron is the sun, proton is the moon, and neutron is the earth. The longest wave will be the most likely band via earth magnetic energy. Yet over the West Australia, still sun still 20 kilometers high. And,
well, that one there was taken actually here, only just over at the lake, with me and a really good girlfriend, that we were just sitting down enjoying that sunset. And I was asking her, she was a beautiful, beautiful girl, Buddhist, and we were sitting there just discussing it all and how it works. And, you know, that at that time, some year and a half ago, was puzzling me a bit. How does that light bend underneath the clouds, and yet the sun is supposedly 20 kilometres high, at least, you know? And I'm thinking, how is that happening? Because even as it travels away, the sun's still not going to go below 20 kilometres, so it still can't get underneath the clouds. And it doesn't matter how much you rattle about perspective. Perspective's not going to do that. You can't get under if you're not under. So you have somehow the sun and the moon have to be going below that level to get under that level. Well, that's when I started to really let my mind think laterally, take the blinkers off, and this is where a lot of all of the vibration wave has come from. It's the only way that it's possible, because I don't know. Well, you see this. We've got photography of the sun actually in the clouds and the moon. So that says that they're actually, as they leave, that the vibration is that low that they are actually achieving some to the person's perspective. If from where I view, but somebody that is like 1,000 kilometres east of me, they're not going to see that. They're going to see they're going to see it at probably about 10,000 feet. Where we see it at maybe 2,500, 3,000 feet. And it is, it's something we've got to acknowledge and something that we need to understand. And then looking at the colours, and it's no different than the chart that we see down below, that at zenith, the sun is hot and yellow and virtually white. Now, at sunset, it's coming down into the reds and the oranges, and it's a longer wave. That's the Earth's magnetics. It's the Earth's magnetics that bend it underneath. And you know, it's so much of the fake gravity and so forth. It's all to do with magnetics. Even us. Why do we cling to the ground? Where we're full of iron, we're full of water. And we're conductivity, so we become electrical. We're attracted to the magnetics of Earth. So you know, it's a powerful thing that we understand frequency and waves, and the color is what gives us our frequency and waves, and that's how that's possible. And it's another indication of the sun wave, the yellow submarine, running across the top of us. From that point there, we're looking at the back of the wave as it's leaving. And the further it gets away, the lower the sun comes down the back edge of that surface tension of the wave, until eventually that's the only part, that's where perspective plays its part. And then all of a sudden it disappears onto the horizon, poof, it's gone. And that is the only part that perspective plays. Yeah.
Okay. Looking high in the sky for the moon, Australia, East USA, all at the same time. In East USA, impossible one moon, simple. Light displays dark, two moons effect. Could not see clear, and equal phases on the flat Earth either. Flat Earth, please think. And this is about two moons, one in Australia and one in the dark in USA.
Yep. Well, again, I just put that in there because it's another evidence of projections. And we're working on waves because of tides. And you cannot have one in dark and one in light. There is two. There's the only way. Occam's razor. The simplest answer, the simplest logical answer to any problem should be the answer. And it's true. And this is why I think they say truth is simple. One in the dark, one in the light. You walk into a dark room and turn a flashlight on, and the flashlight wins every time. So that moon on the left that I took the photo of in the light, and the one on the right would be Donna, I think. If not, we've got some. Then the light from the one on the left should absolutely be illuminating that whole area around that moon in the dark, and it doesn't. It's impossible. There's two. There has to be two.
Okay.
Now, if we've got two moons, we've got two suns. That's as simple as that. If we've got 2 moons, we have to have 2 suns because they are symbiotic. They work through our skies symbiotically in perfect harmony and perfect time from day to day to day for all of time. So you can't pick and choose. If you've got 2 moons, you've got 2 suns. And then we start getting again through to the holographics and the tides. And this is why I put it in there.
Okay. We go to the next one. Loose lips,
Loose
sink
lips,
ships.
sink
Sink
ships.
ships, yeah. The moon is not, people can see it for the same, but the moon is not there every 2 days, every 28 days. Imply what you believe. The moon causes low water and high water. This is to
Right.
you from Alice Langley.
Yeah, well, this was a troll, a ball troll, and I was taking all of what we were bringing to the surface in our research. I was taking it out and around the internet, and to me, the best way to prove a lot of research is take it out and post it around and get into some debates with people. And whenever you start getting reactions, serious reactions, hard ass attack reactions, you know you're touching the truth nerve. And then this guy, as he said there down below, also the tides go up and down around twice a day, not every 2 days. And he was being a smart ass. But as soon as I seen that, I went, aha, gotcha. And that's why I put loose lips, sink ships. Because quite often whenever a narcissist, a psychopath, somebody that suffers from a psychosis and that believe their own lies, they get that way, they believe their own lies. Well, when you trap them into a corner of truth and they can't answer you, that's when their lips start to really let go because they get really offended. And that, like they say, that fragile ego gets really offended and they start to let out really good secrets. Because, over time, that's how I've got some of my best secrets, is by pushing them hard and then they open their mouth and tell me stuff they shouldn't.
Yeah, because one moon cannot cause 2 tides. So 2 times low
No,
tide and 2 times high tide.
exactly, and it's
Yeah,
not here
yeah,
for 2 days every month. It's not here.
yeah,
The
yeah,
moon's not here. It's not in the sky, so it's not here. This is where I used to run and tell. I've got memes, but people don't even trust their own eyes anymore. If the moon is not there, then it's not there. That's what you've got to assume.
yeah.
If you can't see it, then it's got no effect. It has nothing to do with anything. Otherwise, you're just inventing stuff. This is what they do. Oh, well, you can't see it, but it's still there. It's still there. Really, it is. Well, hang on a sec. My eyes tell me it's not. Then it's not.
Yeah.
Keep it real. That's it,
Yeah,
mate.
and it can also not be behind the sun because in the ball movement that is a very difference in distance, so to say. So if it
Well,
not,
that's correct, Mano.
yeah,
That's a good point.
yeah,
Very good point. Thank you.
yeah,
Because every month, every lunar cycle, the moon comes out of exactly the same track as the sun.
yeah.
After every new moon. That means we should have lunar eclipses every single month.
Yeah, I did look up for our moon where it comes up, and I will show you. Wait a minute. Here, and it say my moon comes up at 67 azimuth, and 290 it goes down azimuth, so to say. And if I go a day back, it will be it will be 74 to 67. Yeah, so that's not right. In a
No, it's
way,
not.
no, this is not right too. The moon and the sun come
No,
up. It
no,
comes up, but the azimuth is not right. Yeah, east
no,
northeast, and here it is west northwest, and that is not right because it jumps a certain point, 20
Well, none of
degrees.
that.
Yeah.
The whole point is none of that's right.
No.
If you actually get outside with a compass and do it yourself,
Yeah.
you can destroy that in no time flat, in days, just days, and you can destroy that. This whole system depends on us staying ignorant. and reading stuff off the internet and thinking it's true when it's not.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did see that because the jump is not in it. Also, you
No.
know,
Oh, no.
they do it equally, give you the equally degree, so to say. Yeah, from 82 to 76 to 74 to 67. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, and
No.
I did see that now because if I
Oh,
go
there's...
to tomorrow, let me see. It is at 61, so from 67 to 61. Yeah, so that is
Mhm.
only 6 degrees here, so to say.
So the whole thing's dependent on trust me. Just trust me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't lie to you. Trust me. Please
yeah,
trust me.
yeah.
Don't go outside and look for yourself, whatever you do. Please don't do that.
Yeah, but that's also why people that wanna mislead you do need to tell some truth, of course, because otherwise you don't trust them. And that is it
Uh,
need to be in it, you know.
oh, a little bit. Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
try.
yeah.
A little bit.
The one was a little more than the other one. You said about, for example, about how he's called David Icke or
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of things. You
Yeah,
know.
the whole lot of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
Garcia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are a
Zen
lot.
Garcia is one of my favourites.
Yeah,
The 13-month man. Oh my God, I can't believe
yeah.
people
But
actually buy that.
I think that he's count another way. So it is the 28.
No,
Because if you do 13
no,
times, that is what he do.
no,
Yeah, that is what he do. He
no,
do 13
no,
times 27 so much, I
no.
think.
Go outside and it
No,
goes
no, that's
12
not the
times.
point.
That's
But
it.
that's how
It is the point.
that's how he counted, I think.
No, he's reading it from another Enoch book, a fake Enoch book.
Okay.
When you read it from R.H. Charles, 1883, it is absolutely 100% unequivocal, flat out, fact, 12 cycles.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
13,
yeah.
any. You can count it upside down, back to front, and inside out. You're not going to get 13. You can't get 13 because there isn't 13. Shit.
No, no, but that is not what I say. But I think he do 30 times a certain days, so to say, and then he comes to his outcome, and that's why he thinks that it is maybe 13, so to say. But let's go
But
on.
it's not, that's still not correct.
No, no, that's not
Enoch
the
doesn't
point.
say that.
No.
Enoch doesn't say that. That's my point. Enoch says 28, 28, 29, 28, 28, 29, 28, 28, 29, 28, 28, 29, which goes 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31. Then he even throws in there on the 31 days in the third bracket of the lunar cycle an 8-day bracket, which gives us 4 days given to the year free. That's 364. You can't be any clearer
No.
of 12 cycles.
Yeah.
And yet Garcia, he's running around suckering people in, buying all these ridiculous books of his crazy ass notions that match nothing to reality.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate, but it's true.
Yeah, no,
And
no.
I've had it out with him. I had it out with him online. I'm entitled to say something because I'd very happily debate him about it, very happily. And I have online. And even his sidekick, whatever her name is, she tried until all they could do was block me. They just blocked me. And
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
what
want to
happened in
talk
the end.
anymore.
That's what happened in the end. Yeah, that's how
You
it
know?
works. Yeah, that's
Righto, shut
yeah.
up now. That's
Okay.
enough.
The lakes are salting up. Oops, conducting up, just so the sun can move them a bit. Lol. The Great Lakes, Salt Lakes, saline pollutants fill Erie, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Great Lakes, along one of the largest freshwater sources of the United States, are steadily become saltier. Feeding the rising sodium chloride levels are industrial waste, winter road salt, and salt used to soften city and home water.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a beautiful thing that Don Nordorf, he lives very close to the Great Lakes, and so it's something that is in his neighbourhood and in his ballpark, And as we were going through this research, the Great Lakes are the first place that you have to go to look for any movement. Well, what is it? 5 centimetres. And then as we research, there is an opening somewhere in the north of the Great Lakes that it was said that, there's Nazi submarines or somebody's submarines managed to get in there during the Second World War. The validity of it, not 100%. If it is, it's only brackish water for a little bit, but then it supposedly turns to fresh water very quickly, like any estuary system. So you're getting a 5 centimetre movement. Well, that 5 centimetre movement is caused by all of the pollutants from superphosphates and, as it says in the meme, running off into the water, creating a slight salt content and enabling it like about a 5 centimetre movement, which is nothing, considering that very nearby, you'll have the oceans that are moving 2 and 3 foot. So, fresh water does not move. There is no fresh water on Earth that moves due to any lunar tides or sun tides.
That's right.
We're going to go, so it's evidence again of the electricity needed to move tides, to move water, which is coming back to the sun yet again.
Yeah. That's understandable and simple. Let me see in the next one. It's a little the same, I think. The sun electromagnetic reacts with conductivity of the salt water. Yeah, and there are a lot of tests online about this, and this is one.
Yes, isn't there?
Yeah.
Isn't there? Isn't it good? Yeah. Isn't it so? It's so simple and so real that it's bloody near scares you.
Yeah.
That the whole time it's been looking at us, that it's solar tides.
Yeah.
So I don't need. This is some of Don's good work again. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
You'll see later. I mean, we just, as a group of us, we just pulled it together so well that in the end we just give each other all a big high five and just knew that's it. We're done. The lunatic tides are done.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Okay, here is the same thing again. The saltwater conductivity, so simple, anyone can prove it. And it's a little the same as this with electrodes and cable and a battery and a lamp, so to say. So you can do it. And there are a lot of videos online that you can search for. Here the same thing, saltwater conductivity. Salt dissolves into water to a solution of 26%, creating a high conductivity electrolyte. So easy, a child can do it, and they do it, of course. Making a battery with salt water.
Yeah, beautiful stuff.
Again, a little, I think. The tides are simple, got salt and water. You have got a light and DC power. Molecular structure makes electrolytes, salt water.
Always makes me wonder. I look back at time in the round circle pizza flat Earth, and they brought out that video that tides are the lungs of Mother Earth, and they show how it breathes. And look, it was a well done video for liars. But now I look at this and I just think the length that these guys have gone to keep us ignorant and trap us in all these false beliefs is incredible. Some of the videos that they put together, NASA would be very proud of them, and I'm sure NASA is, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Probably NASA that put them together, to be honest.
The breed is from the middle of the earth where you talk about. I think that was about the video from the North Pole, so to say.
Yes, mate.
Yeah,
and it's a very inspirational video.
Yeah.
But how wrong it was! It's just crazy how wrong it was.
Yeah. Okay, it says I want to give this. Tap water is 50 to 800, the
Hmm.
conductivity, and the portable water in the US is 30 to 1500. Freshwater streams 100 to 2000. Industrial wastewater 10,000, and seawater 55,000. Just for knowing for the people, and you can see here the molecules, so to say. Okay. Uh, the 912 horsepower Quant a sport limousine runs exclusively on salt water because of its conductivity. Yeah, and they take down a lot of people with this kind of things that find out.
Mm.
Yeah, there are a
Mm.
lot of inventions that they take out the people itself or make them looking for fools, so to say. And that's a
Yep.
little how this realm works. If you find
Mm.
out if something is good, you will be taken down. If it is as
Mm.
bad as a bad as can be, then you will be paid for it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it speaks for itself again. Boat runs on seawater. Uh, Saltwater intakes in bowl. I cannot could read it, but I think it speaks for itself that the boat is
It
running
does.
on seawater. Yeah.
It
Most
does.
modern boats use hydroelectric power to salt conductivity, and I think that can yeah they have that for a long time already. I think, of course,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
know a lot. Yeah,
Oh, of course they do. Of
yeah,
course they do. When you think that jets are running on steam engines that they
yeah,
used on trains in the 1800s, and nuclear power stations are just running off the steam from a chemical reaction between metal and water,
yeah,
and they've got steam engines as well. And these are all, 100 plus year technology. What else have they got since then? Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
yeah, yeah. But we did stay with the same. Yeah,
Yes.
with all
Yes.
cables around
Absolutely.
and that kind of things.
Yep.
For real, 100 years, the power source is the same kind of, as you
Yeah.
see it that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
often wonder myself, I was working up here in a place about 200 kilometres from here, and there's huge trains go by with loaded up with coal, and you got to open your mind and start realising everything. You look around and you say, why? Why are they taking all of this coal out of the ground? Why are they taking all of this oil out of the ground? People say money, money, money. No, it's not, because money's just paper that's printed. It's counterfeit. It's nothing. It's not worth anything. It's only worth the value that a slave gives it.
yeah,
So they've got a higher purpose for all of this mining and for all of this degradation and destruction that they're reaping upon the earth everywhere, pulling the oil, which I'm of complete belief that the oil is the blood, the construct of blood that the earth needs. It probably conducts electricity for the earth, no different than our blood does. And so they've got higher purposes behind all of this major manipulation of. Because they don't need to take that coal out of the ground. They could generate electricity in power stations free and just don't tell us,
yeah,
and they'd get away with that fine because they've got away with it in aircraft jet engines. They've got away with it everywhere. So why do all of this degradation and destruction? They've got a higher goal of why they're taking that coal and the oil and the gas and what fracking. It's all to break up the Earth's strength, its magnetism. That's what it'll be for.
yeah, yeah. If you can say it, and we are the worst generation ever. What about
Yeah,
these things? We are a believer generation. We see all what
yep,
we see. If we see a picture, then we believe everything about it. And that is
yep,
also
we
with
do.
the false flags and that kind of things. And they make
Yeah,
videos. It is, and
yeah,
if you tell people, they will attack you. But okay,
yeah,
yeah. Water dipoles are polarized along the electric field produced by the ions, which is opposite to that of external electric field, but in terahertz frequency region, around 1 terahertz, This dielectric constant of water increases with salt concentration. Ocean waves, calming sound of the sea.
Yep. Yep.
Magnetic,
Yep.
electromagnetic fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I see that word dialectics, and I think of Scientology. And this woman that I had pass me, come through my life here, and she was only on the phone tonight to me, and man, she's so hard to talk to. She is so rock solid in what they've put in her head that there's no moving that dielectric frame that they've put her in. And so, whether you move from the oceans and the sun to a human soul, this dielectrics is the enemy to mankind, and they've employed, it's probably their biggest tool of all. And Hegelian dialectics. It's the biggest tool they've used against us is electrics.
Yeah,
And
dielectric.
yeah, yep,
Dielectric. Yeah.
yeah, opposing electrics, confusing electrics.
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. Amazing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
they want to have to make our electric dead, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see it
Well,
that way.
they've done a pretty good. Yeah, all they've got to do is confuse the mind. They've
Yeah,
only got to confuse the two lobes,
yeah,
and it's done. Job's
yeah,
done. Create an ego, and it's done. It's not hard to do when we're not in contact with the earth and with the Creator in our heart, in our spirit. Then where are we? We're out at sea.
yeah,
We're in exactly where they want us to be in
yeah.
dialectics.
Yeah, and the higher they are educated, the bigger the ego becomes. That's a little how the system works, of course.
Oh, it's amazing stuff how they've done it and put it together and compartmentalized it. It's just crazy stuff how good they've been at
Yeah,
it. You got to give them some. I don't know about respect, but I definitely take my hat off to the thought that's been put into it
yeah,
to achieve their total control. It's it's an amazing thing. Yep.
yeah. The world that doesn't exist, so to say.
Yeah. Hmm.
The moon is gone for 2 days. Moon doesn't cause the tides. We did speak about it. Per month tides don't stop at
Yep.
all. Yeah, and
Yep.
two
I
tides.
like that meme.
Yeah,
It basically tells us it's a good meme.
yeah,
That's another one of Don's.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what you want to do with this one.
I just put it in because you can kick moon tides clean out the door. Just kick them out the door. Then it's just ridiculous that we brought into it. The more you look into it, the absolute preposterous, ridiculous insanity of thinking that moon or that light that we see in the sky controls tides is impossible. So
Yeah,
get out.
yeah. Okay. Again, moon tide debunk. It's done. Freshwater versus conductively saltwater. No tides with freshwater. The moon is not there 2 days every 28. Tides don't stop. Sun's electromagnetic energy displaces the salt water, not fresh water. Definition of impossible moon and tides. The conductivity of salt water fact. Yeah, and it's a little, we talked about it, and it's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. It becomes very obvious
Yeah.
as we've come through this now.
The mountains still have snow while it's hot. While it's a hot summer below in Denver, ball trolls can't answer. Yeah. EA map with the sun heights constant can't either. Yeah.
This is a debunk of the analema.
Yeah. I understand.
And again, it helps us in tides because it shows us the resonance energy of the sun's wave, its frequency. You could probably go and touch the sun and it wouldn't hurt you. You probably wouldn't even know if you could get, what is it, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If you could get close, if you could touch the sun, it wouldn't burn you. It's only at the ground that it's hot where it interacts with the Earth's magnetics, whereby On the top of mountains, you have snow. The higher you go, the more snow you get. The closer you get to the sun, you get more snow. That just shows you that it's holographic, that it's frequency, that it's energy and waves. It's not a physical entity in our sky. And in the analemma, it's never haven't been mentioned, but the analemma is total craziness. It is absolute craziness. The analemma is just a farce of how fraudulent it is. The sun and the moon, they don't change speeds. During the year, they don't change speeds. Come on, wake up. You know, you've got to be in a coma to think that stuff. That AE circle wants to show you like a bloody Christmas tree. When it gets closer to the centre, it starts to slow down as it rises in height. Come on. That's just insanity. It's worse than the ball. Now, in the bottom there, you can see that it's where I first seen it, that autumn and spring, when the sun is travelling at the supposed same circular motion on the AE map, they've got the sun at different heights, and yet it gives the same temperature. Come on, that's just ridiculous. All the changes in truth, and you know, Enoch 1 shows us again, all it is the angle change inside, very similar to what my arms are doing now. Outside where the sun's source is, the laser, it just changes the angle of the summer sun or winter sun. That's all it does. And there's no change in height because the lights all land on a level at 38,000 feet, like Enoch said, at zenith, at 12K, at the tip right above you. That's with commercial aircraft fly west at 38,000 feet with the wind. They all fly 33,000 feet going east. They fly at 33,000 feet below that wind, that magnetic wind. So, you know, it's, please people, leave that azimuthal, equidistant, bloody rubbish behind. It's worse than the ball. And you can leave these diamonds behind. You can leave Awake Souls, bloody loop-de-loo sun thing map they've got. It's crazy. It's all crazy stuff. Keep the truth is simple. And we've been told it all. The earth is square, four corners, ends. You know, it's just everywhere. And just don't buy into these fantasies without no evidence, real evidence, or, you know, like Enoch 1's, what we've tried to do is we've matched up the Quran, we've matched up the Buddhist, we've matched up the Christian Bible, even all the texts that they don't want to tell you, that they steer you away from, and they make up all of these dreamy excuses what four corners could mean. Well, bugger that. Like, four corners means four corners. And it's like in Enoch, where he says about the elect one, concealed, hidden. And you've got all of the Christians running around, oh, he's the Son of God, he's the Son of God. Bull, that doesn't give you any right at all to start running around spruiking this fake Jesus, or even attaching it to Yehoshua, all of the different names that they've tried to confuse people with for him. There's nothing mentioned. He's hidden, concealed, four corners. I mean, truth is simple, and we've got to go back to basics and to stop trying to, or stop allowing them to put into our head all these spelling, you know, spelling. They'll make a book to explain four corners and what it really means. Hang on. All I've got to do is read the words four corners. That's enough. Then it tells you what it means, four corners. So, you know, it's the same across the board. You know, the sun and the moon and lights as they come in are the same size. They land on the same level. So the analemma is gone. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. It says here, water molecules, oxygen holds a charge, electricity. The higher you go, the colder it gets, less oxygen. And
Yep.
let's go on to the next one. We have a couple to do, I think 3. Uh, Source light, white light, colors which appear through to the prism are to be derived from the light of the white one. Isaac Newton, new atom. Sun disk, blue crystalline sea.
Mm,
And the door to what?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. See, they know. They know exactly what Enoch won and what I'm explaining. They know
yeah,
it.
yeah,
This is occult art
yeah,
at its finest.
yeah,
You've just got to understand how to pull down their symbology. The blue there is the crystalline sea, the sky, the prism. That's your first polarization, um, and it's all there. You just can't deny it. You just can't. The earth. You can even got a mountain there with water coming out of it, like the seven rivers in Enoch. They laugh at us. That it's sick, really, that they do this, um, because we didn't do anything to deserve it. um, but yet I couldn't believe it when I pulled that down probably, I don't know, 3 years ago. And, still today it's as relevant as it was then to what we're looking at as our true home, our true flat, square, prism sky covered, inside a circle of the earth, celestial sphere, which has a windows for the sun, which is the door that he's got the light projecting through there.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
even his coat. Why has he got a purple coat on? That's ultraviolet. It's ultraviolet light. That is the violet. That's the original source of light, is not the rainbow. It is white light. It's ultraviolet light. So it's all there. It's all in that one painting that
yeah,
we've all probably looked at a dozen times or more, and even in school, and we never knew what it meant. But there you go.
yeah.
There's proof again of projections in here, and the waves and light and frequency, and Tesla, Nikola Tesla. So yeah,
Yeah, it is a little the same, not, but I did a little simple experiment with my eyepiece in the door, and
yeah.
the colors on the door became blue, yellow, and that kind of things. And you did see that, I think.
hmm Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I know.
So it is, yeah, it was just a simple, but and the sun
Well,
did,
I think that's a good evidence of ether.
yeah, yeah, and it did stay on the same place every time again, so to say,
hmm
yeah. But because you say 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months on the same place, so to say,
hmm
for summer to winter and back. This was, we did already tell her, but how can we hide the true cosmology? Simple, remove the book of Enoch, and that speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's a good meme, that one of
Yeah,
Sean's. Yeah, it's a
yeah,
good
yeah,
meme. Like it.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
you can see them. You can see them actually sitting there saying that to each other.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he is with his telephone in his hand.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
this is the last
Absolutely.
one. Three things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth, from Buddha. And that is the last one, I think.
Well,
Yeah,
that meme after the circle, after I realised there's no star spin on the azimuthal equidistant, that meme, and I was destroyed because I'd spent, like, I think, year and a half, 2 years round the clock pushing that truth, the circle truth, and I was destroyed. I was destroyed when I realised that they'd got me again. After all of my research and every other aspect of things, they got me again. And I was just like, what the fuck? They've done it again. And so
yeah,
I was destroyed. I was destroyed.
yeah.
And
Yeah, come on.
that's when this meme just happened to come across my Facebook feed. And when I seen it, because I'd been asking, what to do, should I walk away now? Should I just walk away from the whole thing? Because I was just empty, gutted. And that's when this come across me, and I've never forgotten it. And this is when the Most High, I believe, compelled me that the command I sort of got was, I want you to look up, I want you to study. And it was a daunting thought to me at first, the whole thing that I had to look up there and understand what was going on, because they'd made it seem so impossible. So that meme was the turning point. That is the meme that sparked Enoch 1. All from that meme. And it's from Buddha. So, we've ended up, the whole Enoch 1 has incorporated the Christian descriptions, the Muslim descriptions, the Buddhist descriptions, and here you are with Buddha having his major hand in making it all come to pass. I don't trust anything to do with Veda now, because Vedic is Veda, and I'm sure that they have some truth in there, but I'm not even going to go there, because I think obviously it was corrupted and they were used right from, like I say, 240 BC is when they left that circle. So how long did it take? It probably took them 2,000 years to build that circle. So that, they were under complete control for a bloody long time. So I don't go near the Vedic. It's no need to. It's already caused enough damage. So yeah, that was an awesome meme. Yeah.
Yeah, we did go from the ball belief to the EA map belief, and then you need to wake up again, and that is a little strange, and you need to look at yourself. Oh, I did copy again, because that's what we did. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that, man.
Yeah, that was for me the same thing. And,
I used to ask questions. I can remember debating in big groups and debating using the knowledge that I'd gained from YouTube about the AE model. And I look back now, and like you say, follow. And I see just how much I followed without going outside and seeing the sunset and this huge sun leaving me. And yet they were telling me online that it was a small sun. Yet it's not. In reality, if you go outside, it's freaking huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it changes if you use the camera. It can be a big sun, it can be a small sun, it can be smaller, but that is into the camera. They did fix that way. That's
they did, mate. Yeah. They did, bud. They did.
Okay, we did come to the end for this line of pictures. And do you want to?
Well, I just say that people, the evidence is in. Solar, the moon is impossible to cause anything to do with lunar tides. And if you want to call anything the lungs of Earth, call the sun's, plural, two, sun's waves that are projected in here, call them the lungs of the Earth, because everything on Earth starts and finishes with the soul of man. Solomon's key is the sun. So we need to know that. And it's the tides are caused by the suns. Yep. And I'd like to thank you, Mono, because you're about to close off. So I'd like to thank you and thank everybody that's ever participated in Enoch 1 Flat Square Earth, because the journey has been great and long, and it's amazing. I could never have dreamed of filling my head with such real and verifiable truths that no one can ever take away from me. They're mine. Now, I say mine, but they're ours. They're everybody's. But I have them now in possession. They're my possession within my ears and in my heart that no one can ever take away from me again. Yeah. And that was my goal. That was my goal.
I come to the same thing. I have my own side, and I could recognize a lot facts in what you're doing. Told I'm not high educated, and that
you're a smart man though too, mate.
Maybe in my own way, but I'm not high educated. But it means also I'm not indoctrinated. I'm not a believer.
That's right.
Or two. I am a theorist, and we need to stop belief and be a theorist, and then look what the facts are. And you say about the moon, I did recognize that for my own videos. You say about the sun, I did recognize for my own videos. You talk about the tides, the same thing. There is only, if there is one moon, you cannot have two tides, and that are facts that are hard to debunk, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I want to thank you again, And
My pleasure.
until the next part, this was part 12, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in the world. And I want to say again, thank you for watching and peace.